I call 911 immediately. He goes blue in front of our eyes. He goes limp, stops breathing, stops moving completely.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
There you go.
Where's the bathtub?
Give me the tub.
Welcome to Howie Mandel Does Stuff. I'm Howie Mandel, and filling in for my lovely daughter, Jacqueline Schultz, is her brother.
Is your lovely son.
Say your name.
Alex Mandel.
Yeah, that's great. It's kind of a special day.
Yeah.
And what makes it special is we have some special guests who you actually introduced me to maybe 15 years ago, 10 or 15, the Atwoods. Roman Atwood and his lovely wife, Brittney, the OG of YouTube.
Thanks, Howie.
You know what? I think, Roman, you were actually on my first episode of Howie Mandel Does Stuff. Didn't we call him or he did something?
I don't remember.
Maybe
but
not.
I think you did call him, or maybe it was a FaceTime. Right?
We did something. I know that you were on. I know that we've done something together, but it's been like
We've done something.
We've
A
done
few things. Yeah.
And now you're in town. I did your podcast. You're in town, but I had no idea. I was a fan of yours, kind of even before. You introduced me to him, right, on YouTube. Where did I find him?
You've already you were kind of on YouTube, not that much, but you've already seen some of his stuff, and I was showing you everything.
So for those people who are close to my age, I saw Roman Atwood 15 years ago as a YouTuber, and you were a prankster.
I was.
You were a prankster.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the biggest prank at that time? What was the first prank online? They can go look you up. But what was the first prank online that blew up?
There's a funny story about my first prank that did well.
Okay.
You want to hear about that, or you want?
I don't want any funny stories. I don't even want any answers to my questions.
Let's keep it serious.
Yes.
The first prank was, I think, about 3 years into YouTube. I was living it, grinding it.
Wait, you were doing it for 3 years and hadn't had anything pop?
Nothing.
That's amazing. We'll talk about that later. Your stick-to-itive powers. Go ahead.
I do this video where it's the classic, you tie a string on a fishing string, it's clear, and you put it out in the street at an intersection, and you wait for people to stop the car, they get out, and they go for that purse, and then you yank the string.
Oh, there's a purse on it.
Yeah, there's a purse with cash hanging out. It's like the human fishing, basically.
Right.
And we put it on YouTube, just another video, and I'm like, it's got like 100,000 views fast. Right. And within like 3-4 days, it's at like 600,000, which was so huge for me. So huge.
Up until that point, what was your average video getting? Like, what were you?
A few thousand, 10,000, maybe.
Wow. But you were excited.
That was very good. 10,000 was epic. So finally, 600,000 views. I finally made it. 3 years. The video gets deleted off YouTube.
But tell them why it went viral.
Well, there was a fantastic reaction. Family freaks out. They think they found money. I pull the string, and then they want to fight us.
They were really angry.
Incredibly angry to the point where they got YouTube to pull the video. And
they got YouTube to pull?
They did.
What do you mean they got YouTube to? What can you say?
Back then, you could just simply file a dispute. They used my image. Boom, it's pulled. And it was up to me to fight it. I didn't have permission to use their image, so I couldn't fight it.
So at that time on YouTube, that sounds very much like network television.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to get a release from people when you use them on your videos, do you?
Well, we just didn't. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just running around filming.
Right.
But after 3 years, we finally hit a video and it gets pulled. It's the first video to get pulled and also the first video to do well. So I was devastated. Tosh.0 was calling. Ridiculousness was calling. And I thought, like, this is it, finally, and it just got pulled. So I blurred their faces, put it back on YouTube, got pulled. So I'm like, well, I'm screwed. The worst part is all the websites at the time, break.com and all of those websites, that video flourished on their websites, but I couldn't have it. It was painful. It was tough.
So they were allowed to play it on other websites, even though they pulled it off of yours?
They couldn't. They could pull it off YouTube because YouTube, you could just file a form. You could just file their online dispute, their claim. You couldn't do that on break.com.
But they couldn't display, I mean, that family couldn't make a claim to Break or to Tosh.0?
Maybe they could, but I don't know.
So it was doing great and everybody was making money except you.
Except me, yeah.
How long after that till you got something that went somewhat viral?
Well, the pranks started to pop. I was doing terrible sketch comedy. I mean, I remember throwing a like an actual get together with friends when we did 50 views in 24 hours. Like 50.
And you had to get together for that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we were pumped. 50 views was like insane. Yeah.
Wow. And this was, what year did you
I
start?
was just gonna ask what year.
It's 2009. 2009.
So you were married at the time. You had a job.
Yeah.
Didn't you have a job? You told me. You
yeah,
didn't even have enough money to buy.
I was working in a factory.
Right.
Rope factory, my parents' factory. Blessed to have that job, but I did not care for it. It's just part of my, like, I graduated high school with no plan to go to college, nothing. I'm going to make videos. And
You knew right away that you wanted to make videos. Was YouTube a big thing for you, or you just wanted to be in show business?
dude, I knew in 6th grade, I was telling my teachers I'll make videos for a living.
But YouTube at the time wasn't even monetized. Like, you couldn't make money.
YouTube
didn't
wasn't
exist.
even around.
No, but I'm not talking about then. I'm talking about when you started and you were doing those 3
Yeah, yeah.
years and everything.
Yeah, there was
you weren't
no
doing
money.
it with money in mind because
There was no money.
no monetization on
Yeah,
it.
there was no money.
So you just had did you have a camera? Did your parents buy you a camera? What happened? How did you get into video making?
I saved up $300 one summer and bought my first handy cam. It was a little JVC camcorder, and I recorded everything. Like, it was a passion. It was my joy. That's what I liked. Then when I graduated with no way to make money, I went into the factory world, and I just started in the factory. And that
But you're making these videos,
Yeah.
and then who would see these videos?
nobody. I just make them.
And just watch them yourself.
It was years before I put them on YouTube. I was making videos before YouTube.
As a kid, they were acting and making these skits.
Yeah.
As kids.
Just to make like movies, little movies?
I've got crates of footage I've never put on YouTube. Yeah, crates of remember the old tapes, high 8 tapes, and
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know this about you. So then what when did YouTube come into your when did you realize there was YouTube and I can post these?
I was showing these dumb videos I made to a group of friends, and one of them was like, "You should put these on YouTube." And I didn't even know what it was. I had no clue what YouTube was, and I was like, "Yeah, maybe." He's like, "Yeah, people could see it." So I was like, "That's what I'll do." Well, nobody seen it. It was like, I just upload all these videos. Nothing. If it had 2 views, it's because I refreshed the page. You know what I mean?
And so the first one, and then you got somebody watched 50.
So after, months and months of uploading, every Tuesday, that was my upload. We'd hit like 50 views in 24 hours on a video. And that was
Wow.
like,
And you were excited. You had to get-togethers.
So excited. Yeah, it was like it was an achievement.
And then did you make your first dollar doing? I remember you told me this story that you made almost nothing, right?
Yeah, it was I forget how many years in. It was definitely a couple to 3 years in. I think there was like 58 cents or something in my AdSense,
Right.
which was incredible because I applied. Back then you had to apply for AdSense on YouTube. You had to become a YouTube partner to make money,
Right.
which I was denied.
It's called AdSense.
AdSense?
Google AdSense,
Google
yeah.
AdSense. But before that, it was just a YouTube partnership, I believe.
Right.
Well, if you get denied, you had to wait like 6 months to reapply.
Right.
Well, I got denied. So I knew I had 6 more months before I could reapply.
Right.
And I believe that's where, that's when at that time, Break.com, they started seeing my pranks and they reached out and said, "We will pay you to create these videos." So that's where I started to make a little money. But it was
What did they pay for a prank?
I don't remember them paying for a prank. I think I went into their network so that they could run ads on my videos like YouTube would.
But
Right.
I think they still paid you per view.
That
It's
was later. That was much later.
Yeah.
But early on,
So you told me the story, and maybe I don't remember it properly, but you made this 58 cents. You were working at your dad's rope factory, and you went in and you showed your dad that you had the 58 cents, and he kind of was the catalyst for you wanting to realize your dream. What did he tell you?
I'm working for my dad and I'm slacking hard because I'm doing this YouTube stuff. Like he can see it. I'm definitely like at work checking YouTube more than I'm at work working for him, right? And and this went on for at least 1.5 years. By the way, I did YouTube for 3 years without internet. The only internet I had was at the rope factory. We had no internet at our house for 3 years. So I would do all this and then I would go to work to upload on YouTube. I forgot about that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I remember checking, and there was something 58 cents, something around that number. And I went out. I was like, Dad, made 58 cents. And I thought, jokingly, it was a joke. And he just dead straight looked at me, and he said, well, that shows that you can make money doing it. Like, it was like this like, he was basically like, do this. Like, you can do this. If you can make 58, you can make 58,000, right? It was like,
Do you know how amazing that story is for a parent these days?
oh man. Yeah, my parents are such blessings. Yeah.
The fact that you show your parent that you made 58 cents,
Yeah.
and they go, well, then this is a path,
Right?
is not
Normal.
normal.
It's not normal. Plus, I'm working for him. He needs me there, right? That's the other side of it.
So when he said that, what's the next step? Did you quit? Did you stay working, or
I
just
stayed at the factory for way too long. It's all I knew.
They had to kick him out.
It was the only thing I knew. I was too scared to leave. I wasn't making enough on YouTube yet. And my mother and father one day eventually sat me down, and they said, you have to stop coming to work.
Really?
You have to do YouTube 7 days a week, 6 days a week, 5 days a week. You can't do this 1 day a week. I worked Monday through Friday,
Right.
minimum 40 hours a week.
right?
And then I would have Saturday and Sunday to produce content. And then I would upload once a week, every Tuesday. My mother got me an award that's really funny now. At the 1 year mark, it says, congratulations, 52 consecutive weeks. 1 billion views. It was supposed to say 1 million views, but they misprinted it. And we died laughing because it was such an impossible feat. I did do the 52 weeks, and I had the million views. It took me 1 year to hit 1 million views. But the joke was that it was 1 billion.
But the fact is, I don't know that there's any other kid or any story that I heard where the parent is saying, quit your job and do YouTube. Our story is kind of similar. Me and Alex, we've talked about this before, but I didn't know anything about YouTube. And I would call him at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and say, and wake him up.
Yeah.
And I go, what the hell are you doing? He goes, I was sleeping. And I go, you got to get a job. You got to go somewhere and get a job. He goes, well, I was working all night. I go, what were you doing? And he told me he was downtown dropping water balloons off the building. And I go, I'm talking about a job. He goes, I made money. And then he showed me this check for thousands of dollars that he had made on another video. And I didn't even know you could make money on YouTube. I didn't know that even.
Then he got
existed.
really curious.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, explain this more to me. Like I mean, any parent, you go in the thing is nothing happens in the morning to film for the content. So the content always happened later in the afternoon or anything like that. I'd film when people are out and I would try to do that. And then I would come home and I'd edit all night and I would be excited to post in the morning and then I'd sleep till the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So to him, I'm out all night filming with friends, having a fun time laughing. And then he comes in and goes, you can't do this for work. You need this isn't a job.
Yeah.
Like you're not waking up in the morning for a certain time. You're not going to a place. And it's kind of confusing because he always preaches that you don't do that. But the thing is it was a different industry that he didn't.
It was also a different time, and that's why your story rings so weird and wonderful to me from your father, because if he would have showed me the first check for 58 cents, I would have said, no, I'm taking away your camera. Go get a job.
Yeah, especially if you're relying on him for your job. My dad was relying on me. I was part of the family business, and he was still telling me to focus on my
So when they said get out and go do it, what was your reaction to that?
I was nervous, but I was making sufficient funds at that point.
What kind of money were you making at that point, just to start, like to leave the day job to go do that?
That's a great question.
I know. We're really good at this
we
podcast
were probably
thing.
we were probably doing like 10 grand a month.
I was thinking it was like 1 to 5.
But
And it
even
could have been-
5
10 may have been a great month.
But $5,000 a month
Yeah.
for 12 months is over $60,000 a year, which is way above the American average income of anybody doing something that you love. So they weren't at that point quit. Making 60 grand is not a big push as much as it is with 58 cents saying, hey, I think you just found your industry.
Yeah, my fear was I didn't know if 10 grand a month would last a month or 2 months or 3 months. I assumed it was going to be very quick. Like I didn't know this was going to be a career. I just assumed I made some fun videos, made some money, and I had no clue. We are now over a decade into YouTube, which is so scary. But once they sat me down and I left that job, everything changed. My whole career took off.
Why? What changed?
Because I went from 1 day a week to 7 days a week. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, camera, filming, editing, producing, posting.
Having, I don't, I do a lot of social media, but it's just part of what I do. Living in social media, watching Alex here, become a vlogger at the time before he met you.
No, I became a vlogger because of him.
Explain. Go ahead.
He actually, one of the times that I was, because in the very beginning, and I said this on your podcast too, is when I met you, I said, I know how to use a camera. If you ever need someone to help you, I can do it. Like, you don't have to pay me, you don't have to do anything. And then I finally got a call one day and you're like, hey, it's Roman Atwood. And I was like, cool, I'm a big fan. So
Do my headshots, buddy?
Exactly. And then it was for a video, for a prank that you were doing with the Dudesons. I thought it was super cool. And during the lunch that we had
What
after
prank? What prank was it?
So we did a prank where he did it with the Dudesons and they took bags of popcorn and walked around on the beach, and just when people were sunbathing or suntanning and they didn't notice, they were just kept throwing the popcorn all around the people, and the birds slowly more and more were swarming all of these people.
So they can find that online
Oh,
now,
yeah, that's
or we
still on
could
his channel.
play it.
It was such just a visual gag. It was so good.
It was great.
Yeah.
All these pigeons landing around.
Yeah.
Oh,
What's happening?
We lost your original logo.
yeah.
Your original logo. Did somebody touch
They
something?
pulled it up instead of on this one.
Yeah, it was an exciting time back then.
Yeah, the thing is after that, we were talking about at lunch that you really wanted to do TV stuff, and you came and you co-hosted the deal with it and stuff. But through all the talks, you were also, every time you came, you were staying at this other creator, Vitali's place.
Yep.
And that's he's a very nice guy. I really like Vitali. It's an interesting place to stay with his lifestyle at the time.
And we had a family at home.
Yeah, it wasn't so family. And I was like, I have extra rooms. You guys are welcome to stay over anytime you want to come or anything like that. And then you started staying at my place.
Then you couldn't get rid of me.
Yeah.
And I was always there.
And you kept saying, what do you want to do? I said, I want to be a vlogger. And you go, try. How often are you going to do it? And I remember on your vlog.
Well, before that, staying with you, he was you were taking baths together. You were doing his laundry.
No. This is the first time when he got me started as a vlogger.
Yet. Okay.
No, we took baths later.
Anyway, my point is, and we'll get to the baths that he took with Roman later. Roman baths.
Yeah.
When I noticed that he was a vlogger, the amount of I work a lot. People go, how do you have the energy to work a lot? When you are a vlogger, and this is just watching you, I haven't spent many hours in a row with you. The camera is always there. You're always on, for lack of a better term. I got to tell you that when I'm not doing my podcast, when I'm not doing TV, when I'm not doing your podcast, I know this is you like to say smile more, and that is your brand. I don't even, it's hard to smile. I just like to sit quietly and chill.
Come off character.
Yeah, but I watched him hey guys, what was your what did you say at the opening all the time?
It was hey guys. Yeah.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Because you always make fun of me for all of it. But I mean, that was
no, but you go, hey guys, okay, I'm leaving now, and here I am, and I'm at this thing and that, and then you cut, and he goes, okay, then, maybe I can get some content over there. Hey, and then you're up and you're down and you're up and you're down, and I can't imagine the amount when you said 7 days a week.
Yep.
Not only are you're not a single guy like he was, so you have a wife, you have kids, you have a personal life, you have your parents and everything, and everybody seems to be involved in.
Everybody becomes a character on your show.
Right.
Yeah, you have to basically brand everybody and everything in your life. Turn it into a brand.
Where do you get that energy? Like, how did you?
Dude, we often talk about how did we ever do it? Yeah, I think I had this joy since a kid, and once I found it, I just ran full speed. It was like I found a place and I found my niche, and I just ran with it. And I couldn't stop.
But I understand your mother saying, and giving you an award, even though the number was off by a 0 or 3 zeros, that 52 weeks in a row that you had content and you were uploading whatever day you were uploading every week. You didn't miss a week. And I think on the internet, consistency is king.
Yeah.
Because if you start missing, they can go find some other
Yep.
person to watch, but you want that loyalty and you want your audience to feel like it's Tuesday. I can't wait to see what Roman's
right.
got. So you've been doing that consistently for what? Like that's like 15 years now.
Well, once the vlog started, we did about 6 years every day uploading. So no more weekly, daily. And the longest I did was 550 days without missing a day. So that was a full day of filming. I would edit all my vlogs myself.
All yourself?
All myself, which gave us no life. Film all day, edit all night, 3 a.m., wake up, start at 0, go to bed at 100 every single day. And we did that 550 days without missing one.
Is that a strain on your relationship, do you think?
I don't remember it ever being. I think we were in the moment. Do you?
No, I don't think so.
Definitely.
Was that hard for
That's just
you?
what we were doing.
Hard on-
But you seem to have later on, Brittney, become more a part of on camera. At the beginning, you weren't as much. Well, you were in the vlogs, but not as much in content. Maybe
Yeah.
because you had a baby. I don't know, but you weren't. It was Roman,
Mm-hmm.
and then you started to grow after, and you had your own accounts.
Well, right in the beginning, like the first videos before anyone even really saw them, I was in not my face,
Yep.
but waist down, full lingerie.
Yeah. That's
In the
how I
back of
signed
the-
off. So for
in
like
the back
3
of every
seconds,
video.
At the end of every video, she was in the background. But you never saw a face. It was just this funny ending to my vlogs or these videos that I made.
The weekly videos.
Yeah.
But I was still working at the dental office, so I didn't want people to see my face, be able to pull it up to my boss there.
We were ahead of the curve. We were like the first OnlyFans.
Wow, but you were
And
the
then I got
only fan
pregnant.
because nobody else knew who she
Nobody
was.
even saw these videos. Yeah.
That's great. Well, the first video when I start on TikTok, I always ended my TikTok with Alex in lingerie.
Yeah. And I see it doing well.
Yeah. Commercial.
And you know what commercial it is when we sound like this, like we have something in our mouth.
Yeah, if you're just listening, we have in our mouth. What do we have in our mouth?
Zippix,
love
my
the way
favorite
she
thing
said-
to say.
Yeah, and I love these because this is instead of coffee, I'm getting my caffeine, I'm getting my B12, and I'm getting really good taste. So it's like a candy that's making me feel great.
Zippix brings you totally satisfying, convenient, and flavorful way to curb cravings and relax with 2 milligram and 3 milligram options. And I always say this, but remember when massive vape clouds and ashtrays and
You don't always say that
I
unless you're
do.
reading it. No,
I do. I always say it.
No, but
and
I'll
you
just
say
say
sometimes you say yes, and sometimes you say no.
no. You don't always say that. You're just reading it. But the truth is, we're not inhaling anything. This is really good for our lungs, and I'm getting all the enjoyment that I want to get. And if you want to, if you need a nicotine fix, but you don't want to have a vape or ashtrays, then you can get nicotine. You can get some of them with alcohol, with a taste.
Without alcohol.
Well, did you see with alcohol taste? Like this one here. Well, there's mocha. Let me see all the different ones I have. Peppermint, watermelon. There was one that was a Spice Island clove. I'm saying there was one that was like a brandy taste or like what was that taste, Alex?
Okay, well, anyway.
I think it was bourbon.
Bourbon. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I got it. I got
Okay.
it. The taste.
The taste.
Zippix toothpicks are long-lasting and available in 6 delicious flavor choices, like you just said. Plus, you can stop exposing your lungs to smoke and vape fog.
So if you need a boost of energy, try their Zippix B12 and caffeine toothpicks. I'm telling you, I'm trying it. That's what I have in my mouth right now as I speak. It's delicious, and I feel like energy and B12, and my teeth are clean because I got toothpicks.
So you guys have seen us use Zippix on the podcast, and now it's time to find out for yourself just how great they are. Go to zippixtoothpicks.com today and use code Howie10 to save 10% off your order. That's zippixtoothpicks.com, promo code Howie10. Must be 21 or older to order. Zip more, smoke less with Zippix toothpicks.
I like the way you say that.
I know.
So you're, and then you just explode.
Yeah, it was a tough decision because pranks were so viral. But about a year before I moved to vlogs, I was telling everybody, like, pranks are going to end. Like, YouTube's going to cut back on pranks. They're oversaturated. Like, it's going to end. I need to evolve. And I really want to be back home in Ohio. I was out here in LA a lot. And my fear was always creating content that everybody was creating. And when I was in LA, I felt like I was creating what everybody was creating. And I said, nobody is in rural America country with their family creating. I'm going to be like the Tim Allen of YouTube, the family, right? So that's what I did. And I remember like telling my management, like, I went from rated R, I'm going to go full PG overnight. PG, clean content, family content, overnight. It was super like,
That's
It-
kind of scary
was
because your audience knows what they're coming for, and now you've just taken what they might be there for away.
they were there for crazy rated R content. And overnight, I was going to go full PG. And it was a risky move. And I remember my dad kind of saying, why would you want to limit your audience? Like, he
Right.
just asked me, why would you limit it? Why wouldn't you make something that everybody could watch?
Is that the reason to go PG, or why are you limiting it by changing away from R?
It was part of his. When my dad tells me something, I tend to take his advice, and most of it was like seeing my kids growing up. I was like, it's not really who I am. I'm not really a rated R person. That's the truth. And I felt like I was kind of acting rated R. So PG and clean and family I found what I love, and that's what I loved. Being home with my kids and creating content was so much fun. And I think that's how I was able to run with it for so long. It was I got to be me for real.
But
So-
you also decided, I still remember this, is you were telling me when I wanted to start my channel too, is I wanted to do sketch comedy and do things like that and act. You go, I know, and there's the prank stuff. You go, I'm telling you, it's not happening yet, but the pranks are going away and it's going to be vlogs. And I go, I don't know. Are people going to want to sit and watch what people do in their life? You're like, it's going to be vlogs.
Yeah,
I'm
and that was
watching it."
about a year before that actually happened.
Yes.
And dude, when I switched to vlogs, I remember everybody making fun of me, dude. Vitaly would
You know-
roast me.
You know what? And
Roast
I
me.
didn't roast you, but he showed me.
Yeah.
You know, Alex showed me what it was, and this is what I talk about all the time as an older guy, kind of learning through my kids what social media is. Because I'm going to be totally honest with you. How long are they? Like they were like, how long is a vlog? What were you-
You always tried to shoot for 10 minutes.
Right, but that to me seemed like an eternity of a home movie.
Right.
And I'm going like, I get why they're laughing at a prank. I get why people are tuning into a music video. I get why somebody's tuning into a sketch, like you were doing sketches. I really, really don't get at all 10 minutes of somebody's life.
Mhm.
I don't get it.
Going to the grocery store.
Yes.
My goal was to get you to fall in love with us as a family, but get you there with something crazy. So whether that be blow up grandma's car, which we did together.
Right.
So if I could get you there for the explosion, but get you to fall in love with us as a family, then that's why you would watch 10 minutes of what we're doing. That was my.
Because you always believe there's something coming. There's going to be a little surprise at the end, or
there's
soon.
gonna be entertainment mixed with emotion, and that was a big goal of mine with every episode. It was how to get the viewer to fall in love with you, because I could have a 20 million view prank. Nobody gave a rip about me or know anything about me. They just watched for the prank. But once they were, oh, Roman has a kid. Oh, he has a girlfriend at the time. Like, oh, he's a normal dude. I kind of like his style, right?
But
So-
you weren't able to do that when you were young, and not that you're old or anything, but
talking
when
to
you
me?
were, yeah, when
Okay.
you were young,
Yeah.
you had no view into anyone else's life. You didn't know what your neighbor was doing. There wasn't posting stuff on the internet. You only saw what you saw out in public, or that's
Well,
it.
that's why-
And now you get to look behind closed doors.
You're right. And you know, the thing about when I was young, you know, a movie star or a TV star would come on. Everybody tuned into the Tonight Show one night.
Yeah.
And they would tell a story about how they went shopping.
Yep.
And you go, oh my God, this movie star went shopping.
They're like
Yeah.
one of us.
Yeah, or that's what's on the cover of People magazine. You know, they're like an inside
They're normal
scoop.
people.
They're normal people. So when YouTube kind of led that way, where you could see people who you've been enjoying or that you like or you worship living, and you can get a peek into their life. Here's my next question, though. So you open up your life to the
Yeah.
world, and I got to say that I first met you out here. You came out and stayed at Alex's house, and you were like a fucking rock star. You know, when you were walking down the street, we were walking down the street. You know, listen, I'm on TV. Yours was twice as much as mine. The horns were honking of the cars that were passing by. People are yelling Roman. It's all young people. I mean, the older people
yeah.
knew me, but it was like I was walking down the street with a rock star. The scary part of it is they weren't, for me, people who are fans of me at that time know me from comedy or know me from stand-up or see shows that I do. These people virtually every day see the inside of your house, the inside of your family, your kids, and everything. I found that, and if you don't want to talk about that, we won't. But I found that really scary and really like the internet is too open and too inviting.
Yeah,
which I know became an issue, but was it an issue before it became an issue? Did you ever give that thought?
No, it wasn't an issue till it became an issue. You know?
But even when I was there, before you had a big issue, even when I was there, I remember we went out to the house and we were shooting something. There was kids waiting at the end of the street at the fence. It's like they knew that was your house.
Yeah.
You had a lot of security, you had cameras and everything.
Yeah.
That would scare me. Maybe because you're in Ohio, it's not as scary.
That was always scary.
But
for
it
sure.
happened even when you would stay at my place. It started like my address started getting posted somehow, and then we'd look out the window and there's people sitting in front of my front door knowing you're staying over.
It did become overwhelming. It did. But I learned from Howard Stern. He would say things like, the more you give, the more you get. And the more you give, the more you get. If you listen to his show, when I was driving to the rope factory every day, he would share his life in every detail, every aspect, so the viewer, the listener would fall in love with him. They would know him intimately. And when I was shooting my vlogs, it was very much like that. The more I give of myself, the more I get in return. So the more I give the viewer a chance to fall in love with who I am. And that required giving them all that I have, sharing every aspect of my life, my personal life, our stories. I genuinely remember Howard Stern saying that, and I remember thinking, the more I give, the more I get. And that was very true. I created a very loyal audience that have now come over to yet again another evolution, the podcast.
Well, but speaking of Howard Stern, he talks about, he's got this one fan, Bobo, who calls him. You know who I'm talking about? There's one fan called, I think his name is Bobo, but the guy that showed up as his wife was giving birth, he was a fan showing up at the hospital, which freaked him out. The guy was harmless, but the guy showed up at the hospital knowing that his wife was in labor because he had been sharing that, figuring out what hospital she was at, maybe hanging out at the building where he was working and following him to wherever he went.
It's a double-edged sword.
That's really scary.
It's a double-edged sword, and I don't wish it on anybody. We've dealt with many, many scary situations. It's night and day. People know we have backed away from the internet a ton.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying that, but you're on. You got a podcast.
Yeah, once a week.
You're vlogging
once a week, and we're not sharing. It's the daily intimacy that brings that heavy. They know where you are. They know what hotel you're in. They know. When we were daily vlogging, you couldn't hide that stuff. It was like you had to film and post every day. So if you're in Vegas, they know you're in Vegas until you've left because your vlogs are almost up to date.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you end that routine, it's a lot harder to care as much about us because we're not keeping you informed.
That explains it.
Yeah.
Just don't care about you guys that much.
And I don't want details, but you said you went through the scariest time of your life because of that.
Yep.
I'll
give you a crazy example. Just a month ago, ish.
Mm-hmm.
Guy just literally broke into our podcast studio, came in, took photos, messaging Britt, all this creepy stuff. He just got 6 months in jail. That was just a month ago. So this stuff happens. It happens. It sucks.
Yeah, he was like live tweeting us in our house, in our old house, in our studio, But
the truth is, you are well protected. You have good security. You have a good, so they can't.
We have a good team, and we've also been blessed with a team that's been watching over us.
Yeah.
And
Plus, having been to your house, I've seen a lot of your weaponry.
Yeah,
we
and
got-
you
So
live
I
in
wouldn't
Ohio.
go. I know.
we're
I
pretty
wouldn't.
decked.
Beyond.
Yeah.
Well, and I can only imagine that from the time I was there, that has grown by tenfold. So if you're listening to this and I have never seen more
Don't become
armor.
their target practice.
Oh my God!
I will say
he
this.
knows what he's doing and he has weaponry.
I will say this: the good, the good has outweighed the bad, and I think that's what keeps us able to just keep going. You have this full-grown men come up to me, full tears in their eyes, and they say, "I'm alive. I'm alive because of you."
We have
And
more of those stories
That
than
happens
the bad ones.
constantly.
I
with
know.
me. And that only has to happen once to know that what you're doing has a bigger purpose. And that keeps me that genuinely keeps me on the internet. Above the weird stalking, above the arrests, above all that, I have saved a human life.
Yeah, you have, and you're very inspirational, aspirational. I listen to your podcast. People get not only entertained and informed, but inspired, and you've always done that, even with your relationships, with your parenting, with everything, with your family, with with your parents. You've always done that. What I also find fascinating about you, and I kind of am an advocate for this, and we talked on your podcast a little bit about that, is I haven't seen anybody pivot like you pivot. And as far as, we talked about getting older, where people find a path. You could have been the guy that just does sketches on videos, or you could have been the prank guy, and then you're always doing pranks, and then that's why a lot of people just peter out, and then you never hear from them again. So you were the prank guy, and then you became the vlog guy, and now you're the podcast guy, and now you're the fact that you have the wherewithal to see the path ahead.
Yeah.
I hope you keep that, because that is and then, Alex here always tells me, you told me when he said, because I love pranks. That's how I found you.
Yeah.
I still love
Oh,
pranks.
you're the OG.
No, but the point is, pranks, I'm mad. I'm not thrilled that pranks are a tough thing right now on the internet. That's my favorite thing. That's what was my catalyst for getting into comedy. I loved Candid Camera, and I love seeing real people and relate to, as a viewer. It makes me laugh. It makes me relate. It makes me think, like, what would I do if I was in that situation? How can they believe it? It's just fun. It's very engaging. And you told me, Alex, that Roman said it's going away. How did you see it going away before it was going away?
I just saw a oversaturation.
It was becoming the cool thing to do.
It was just becoming like, even if you were a prankster, you were making a prank, and that's where I just saw like this. There's gonna be an end to it.
You know what bothered me about the pranks on YouTube, and I could see through it 100%. I love real pranks.
Yeah.
I don't like staged pranks. I don't like when they become fake.
Yeah, they're thriving more than ever. Like if you scroll Facebook, I think that they don't even try. I think they try to make them look fake at this point, and they have 100 million views. Like people just don't care.
Why? I don't know what they're watching because it's fake.
I don't know.
This person is not really surprised.
I'm glad.
This girl doesn't think it's your car.
But that's also what I loved, is when I would help him shoot videos in the beginning and just hold the camera and stuff. We'd go for hours, usually like Venice Beach or something like that.
days.
And then you'd be like, we didn't get enough today. And we'd go the next day and we'd go all of it. And we're like, he's like, we haven't had that
Do
reaction.
you remember how hard it was blowing the girls' dresses off? When
Yeah.
they would sneeze.
Yeah.
It took forever. I would sneeze, and then the girls' dresses would blow off. They'd be in their underwear.
Right?
It was fantastic, but it took forever to get that
To get a
work.
reaction.
Well, you had to suit them up perfectly so the dress wouldn't fall off. Then you had to get the string ran, and then you had to hope the person saw the sneeze and the reaction.
And you find that a lot of your pranks had to do with string.
Actually, yeah, because one of the bigger
the
ones too
snakes
was
on the string
was
and-
we took like binder clips and hooked it to people's backpacks or their purses, and it was like fishing line that would be attached to like
That's
the
right.
snake, and he would tap them, but it would chase them when they ran.
Yeah, gosh,
Yeah.
the purse video too. Yeah,
purse,
I
a lot
love
of
fishing string, man.
And
No,
then when
and
did
the
you make
spider on the string?
Yeah, squirrels.
It was great, and people had huge reactions.
I think if you love surfing, you don't just catch one wave, right? Like you have to evolve. And I've seen a lot of people refuse to evolve, and they've kind of just, they're stuck. And I try to catch the evolution. The podcast thing, I think I've started a good time, but maybe a little late.
Oh, I feel that. People that I know that are huge in this, Not about you, even about me. You know, we started late. This has been going on. Like you said, you did Theo Von's in 2013.
Imagine.
I think that's when Joe Rogan started also.
Yeah, but they have kind of built this community for people like us to join in, right? Because now it's not weird to have a podcast. Back then,
Now it's weird to not have a podcast.
That's right. So it's also like something I find so much joy in. I enjoy this so much.
I like it because I get a chance to work with my family, talk to my friends, and just not perform. You know, I don't have to perform. I could just sit here and
just hang out,
have a talk, hang out.
And you get to inspire people.
When did you make the transition from strings to toilet paper?
Toilet paper. That's right.
For those that
Higher
don't
production.
know. Yeah, for those that don't know.
Fantastic video, Howie.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. My son and Roman TP'd my entire house. And
he asked my permission. I just didn't ask your permission.
It's not your house.
It's not your house.
I know.
It went viral.
It was a great
You
video.
made a lot of money,
He
and
said,
then you went home.
Can I prank your dad? And I said, of course.
When's the next time your dad's out of town?
Yeah, I don't know that I'm a good receiver of pranks.
I think you handled it well.
You didn't see me. You flew out right after.
Literally.
Did I handle it well?
I saw the camera version.
You understood why it happened.
As a prankster, you had
So
no
what is
choice
that?
but to understand.
I don't know what that even means.
That's
but
like saying you get sick and you understand what, you know why I got sick? Because I was standing with the guy with the flu. That's why I got the flu, and that's why I'm throwing up and I have projectile diarrhea. I understand why it is. I'm not enjoying it. I don't know that I'm handling it well, but I understand where it came from.
Well, you said in the video, I don't know whether to be proud or angry, so I'm prangry. That's what you said at the end of the
Wow.
video.
I think if for somebody that dished a lot of pranks and enjoys pranks, I think you took it fantastic.
I owe him. I should be pranking him more with the things that he did to me when I grew up.
That's right.
Do you know the boner story?
I haven't talked much about boners with you.
You didn't talk about your boner to your
I
friends?
don't think I've told him about my boner.
Brittany, do
Tell
you
me
know
about
his
Didn't
boner
see it in
story?
the shower. There's no boner.
So you were washing
We
his
have all
back?
showered together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
can tell them.
no.
Oh,
He just. I
we-
have an extra growth on my
Well,
rib.
I got a call when I was on the road from my wife, who was really scared when he was a young boy that there was a lump on his chest. And I came home freaked out because family is everything and their health is everything. And we ended up going to the doctor, and it was okay. It was a benign thing. It was an extra growth.
It's just a growth like your bone can grow an extra
grow.
weird thing.
But he was really scared. He was about 8 years old or 9 years old. And I put him to bed that night, and he said, Dad, what was wrong with me? Like, what is that thing? And I go, it's nothing. We went to the doctor. You know what it is? It's a boner. You have a boner. He goes, I told him before he was going to bed, I thought it was kind of funny just to myself. I said, you have a boner. He goes, is a boner bad? I go, no. But you know what? Tomorrow, if they want you to, in school, if they want you to run or go to gym or go to pee, tell them you can't because you have a boner. Good night, Alex. And I kissed him good night and I put him to bed.
I went to school the next day.
And
No
I
way.
forgot to
You
tell
used
him
it.
it was a joke. No, my wife, Terry, called me one day. She goes, Howie, get in here. I go, what? She goes, I got the school's on the phone. What did you say to Alex? I go, what are you talking about? And then I had to get on the phone. They said he's being inappropriate. He's telling everybody that he has a boner and he's not allowed to go to gym class because of his boner. He's not supposed to run. And that his daddy came into his room last night and told him he had a boner.
Oh,
Nothing about
my.
this story was
But the
good.
thing was, is as an 8-year-old, I've heard the term boner, and people are like, well, how did you not know he was kidding? He explained that he goes, okay, that term is because like what the doctor explained is when you have a growth off your bone, it's a bone, and then it's
a bonus.
Boner
I would
is
assume it's
off
a
of it.
bonus.
He's like, so that's what it is, and then because of that down
Don't
there, the
explain
joke
why
thing-
you understood it. He thought he had a boner.
But what I'm saying is
And
to-
you can't. Can you run with a boner?
I think they arrest you now for doing something like
But
that.
the reason why I'm saying that is the whole class sits in the beginning and they do like an attendance with the whole grade there. So I raised my hand. I said I can't. When everyone laughed, I'm sitting there like an idiot being like, no, a boner is actually a medical term. They go, stop saying that. And I go, I have a boner. I cannot work out. I mean,
will
I
show
cannot
you.
run. And they go to the office. I go, fine. You'll talk to my dad. He'll tell you I have a boner.
Oh my god.
Dad knows everything
So they
about
called
my boner.
them.
Yes.
So they
my
called
dad
them.
came into my room last night. He looked at it and he said it's a boner.
That is a boner.
But those kinds of things happened all the time.
That's an epic father-son prank right there. 8 years
I don't
old.
know that it's a
There's
prank.
good ones and there's bad ones. I don't know if you want me to say
You
this.
still
but-
have the boner?
Yeah,
You have a boner
I
currently?
do.
What is the
I do.
bad one?
The bad one is when Jackie was first meeting you on the road, and you called mom, and you go, "Everyone got off the plane, but I don't see Jackie. Did she get on a different plane?" Well, she was staying next to
Oh
him.
my gosh.
Like these pranks, I don't know about you if you do them as a parent, but you just always pranking.
I don't prank anymore. I vlog.
Just like pranks
Without a
are dead.
camera.
Yeah.
I think pranks have made a little comeback though.
They did.
Yeah.
They have.
Yeah, I don't know. I think everything will run a course again, I believe. But
So are you enjoying this? What is the next wave, do you think? So now you're doing podcasting, a little bit of vlogging. Do you see a change in the current?
yeah, the next wave is
I am so excited that Rocket Money is one of our sponsors because I use Rocket Money all the time.
So you're not just advertising it, you are a customer.
I am. I use it all the time. It saves me so much money.
What does it
because
do?
It tells me well, it does a lot of stuff, but you could track all your money in your bank accounts and stuff like that. But what I love the most is it tells you about all your subscriptions that you don't even remember you have. And so you can go in and actually cancel any subscriptions that you're not currently using. And it saves you, or it saves me, a fortune. No joke, a
Really?
fortune. Yes.
So you'll cancel like your husband's porn subscription.
I have done that.
And not only do you save money, but you save your marriage.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. So, and then you could be, you don't want to waste money. And especially in these times with the financial woes that a lot of people are going through, I think this is a great sponsor and a great product.
And I heard somewhere that 80% of people have subscriptions that they forget about. So it's not just me, it's a lot of people.
It's 80%.
Yeah.
Yes. The app shows all your subscriptions in one place and then cancels for you whatever you don't still want, right?
Yeah.
Rocket Money can even find subscriptions you didn't know you were paying for. You may even find out you've been double charged for a subscription. So it'll show you like how much you're paying.
Yeah. And not only that, it'll tell you when a subscription price has gone up, which you wouldn't know anyways. It's really cool.
And all you got to do is press cancel.
Yeah.
And Rocket Money takes care of the rest.
Yeah. So get rid of useless subscriptions with Rocket Money now. Go to rocketmoney.com/Howie. Seriously, it could save you hundreds per year. That's rocketmoney.com/Howie. Cancel your unnecessary subscriptions right now at rocketmoney.com/Howie.
Wow, what a coincidence. That's my name.
And I use that app too.
It's awesome, right?
I had it since it was Truebill.
Me too. That's why I didn't recognize
That's the
it. I'm
same.
like, what's
That's the
Rocket
same.
Yeah.
Truebill became Rocket Money.
You're going to want to hear this because I think right now it's really important to say to yourself, you know what? How can I keep my money safe? How can I make an investment? How can I be part of something that I maybe can't even afford to be part of? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And
If
this. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you're talking about Masterworks. And if you keep listening, you'll learn how to get a reward value of up to $200. That's right, up to $200. You tell them how.
Okay. So we're going to talk about it. Okay. Now, this isn't NFTs. Okay. This is fine art worth millions. All right. And you go, well, I can't invest in fine art. That's for billionaires. Well, that's what this company does now. Masterworks allows you. It's kind of like, it's what do you call it when you have shares? Like what do you call it when you split something into ownership?
Shares?
Yeah, that's what they do with the fine art.
Yeah.
Right, but they'll take
Yeah.
out like $1 billion painting or $1 million
Like
painting.
Picasso's and Monet's and
Right.
stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's one of the things that can actually go up in value, art now, right? More than anything. It's not as, so that's how Masterworks has produced results, even as the economy slows. That's right. Just a few weeks ago, Masterworks sold a painting for a 21.5% net return. So they made 21.5% more than they invested in it.
Which is really good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really good.
So learn how to get up to $200 from Masterworks when you sign up with our special code at masterworks.art/Howie. That's masterworks.art/Howie. To learn how to get up to $200, see important regulations, a disclosure at masterworks.com/CD.
Short.
what's already happening is short form content, which I think goes very well with the podcast because you're creating every podcast, you're creating 15 to 30 shorts.
They're
Right.
YouTube Shorts.
Yeah. So
Will YouTube Shorts completely kill TikTok?
I think so.
I think that there's a moment where YouTube offers this financial opportunity for these creators that have never had it. So right now, these creators are giving millions and millions of views for nothing on TikTok. YouTube, January 1st, is going to start saying, we're going to pay you to create shorts. Now, everybody has a shot, not only a shot to go viral and a shot to make money, which none of these.
But you don't have to apply for that? You just, if it's a YouTube.
I don't really know how it's all going to work, but I know it's going to be shared. So as you create content and you get more views, you're going to have a piece of, like, they're talking like 50% of ad dollars are going to shorts. That's massive, massive, which is going to take everybody that's creating content to YouTube.
Yeah, because
Wow.
everyone else. I mean, I know you
But
love TikTok,
but TikTok is like, but you can create content that's 15 seconds on a YouTube Short. You can do 15 seconds.
Yeah.
It is TikTok.
It is TikTok.
Yeah.
It's the same format, same everything.
Here's why you're not doing it right now. Because right now, if you create a short, it goes right on top of your main page video. So it looks horrible. It's hideous, right? So you got like this beautiful channel and you want each video to do well and you want your page to look its best. So advertisers go to your page and they're like, okay, looks good. Problem with shorts right now is it just buries your main content. So what I've heard is that they were going to add a new tab. So you've got videos, community, about. Now you will have videos, shorts. So you have a separate tab, and then you'll start dumping all your short.
And what's the
content.
difference between YouTube Shorts and Reels on Instagram?
that every platform makes their own names for them.
Yeah, Reels is Instagram's version of TikTok.
And Shorts is the YouTube's version.
Are people
of TikTok.
making money on Reels?
Yeah,
There's real bonuses right
they
now.
have started
And some-
bonuses.
There's monetization
Yeah.
too on them.
but it's minimal. It's very minimal, and the algorithm with shorts is wild. It's very wild. To give you an example, we just created a shorts channel, which is kind of what you need to do right now, a separate channel, because you don't want to ugly up your main channel. But once that switches, I believe you'll want everything on your main channel, because after with all your shorts, it will connect to the main video. So let's say you create a short out of this, well, it will push to the main podcast episode. So now you're driving potential viral traffic to your main podcast.
But Shorts is more of a what you're talking about from this is more of a clip, whereas a short, whereas on YouTube there is like or on TikTok there's a beginning, middle, and end. Like you're doing a 2-minute bit as opposed to cutting a clip from what we're doing.
If you were to watch the shorts on YouTube right now, a lot of them seem like they could stand alone.
They are TikTok clips. They're vertical. They look just like TikTok.
Yep.
They're not a clip, Howie. They're not a 2-minute clip from the podcast.
You could just use it for that if you want to promote
Absolutely.
by putting good clips.
Can you repost your TikToks onto YouTube Shorts?
absolutely. I would
get rid of the TikTok logo?
I
if you did
would
that?
change something about it. Like these algorithms are unbelievable at knowing what's already on the internet,
Yeah.
and it punishes you. I don't know if you've noticed on Instagram stories, if you post anything with a link, you're punished for 24 hours. If you post just a picture of you standing,
Like you
boom,
don't get the views.
you'll get the most views possible. If you post a video of you standing, check out the new podcast with a link, you're going to be punished for 24 hours because you're taking them off of Instagram.
So you also, it goes one step further. Even if you tag friends or other people, depending on their status, it affects how your post
Even
does.
if you push to another Instagram video,
Yeah.
it punishes you.
Wow, look at you are the expert in social media, and I would imagine our viewers just figured out how to send themselves into a whole new tax bracket with this little bit of info.
I think that that it's continue with evolution, and I've been terrible with a lot of the new stuff, the shorts and the stuff like that. I have a guy running it and he's killing it. But the goal will be to transition everything to YouTube. I'm taking everything to YouTube. Yeah, I will prioritize what I think is going to do great on TikTok. Will go on YouTube first.
But I have 10.5 million TikTok followers, and I don't have that many YouTube followers, do I?
I would
It's growing.
I would just say you start. Here's a great example. Just started a separate shorts channel for this podcast, for my podcast.
Let's just do a Howie Mandel Shorts channel.
I have never, ever talked about it, mentioned it, posted about it, nothing. So the views are very minor. Clips, which are like 2.5-minute clips from the podcast. I think they did 2,300 views last week. Okay, 2,300.
Right.
The shorts did 127,000 views
Wow.
Just on their
without
own.
ever mentioning it, without tagging, without anything. That's how much shorts are being favored. YouTube is competing with TikTok. They want to take over, so they're going to take whatever you post and try to promote it.
And do you find that YouTube, because you've been such an OG on YouTube, that they really favor you? How many, I was there when you got, I can't remember if it was 100 million. You got that plaque.
100 million now.
What?
You get a diamond at 10. Yeah.
That
A
10
diamond at
million.
10. Yeah, two
Subscribers.
diamonds.
Yeah.
2 diamonds.
20 million subscribers. How many subscribers do you have?
First U.S. citizen with 2 diamonds, and second in the world, I believe. Yeah.
Who's got you beat?
I don't know. It's a German creator. I'm not sure. I don't know. I thought I was that. I thought I was the first one. And then when I posted, they were like, actually, there's this German creator. I don't know his name, but apparently he had 2 diamonds before me. Yeah.
And what do each of your channels have right now, subscriber-wise?
The old prank channel is like 10 million, right around there. The vlogs are like 15, 16 million, and the new podcast is like coming up on 500,000. Yeah.
And that's only a few months old.
Yeah,
You're blowing it up fast.
My favorite part, and this always sounds crazy, is
Starting over.
I love I love starting with 0 subscribers. That is all my motivation. Like everyone's like, just put your podcast on the vlog channel. I was like, I can't do that. I have to start at 0. And it's so fun to get 10 subscribers when you're at 0. It's so fun to get 50 when you're at 0.
And do you have a certain strategy at doing that? Or is it just about the content you're delivering?
I just literally am having fun. And those that come from older channels, like the vlogs, are obviously building those numbers for us. But I just have so much motivation in starting at 0. So it's like anything. If you're trying to rebuild your 69 Camaro, the part of the fun is the build. And once it's done, all you can do is drive it. So.
Are you going to have another kid?
Nope.
Oh, that kid. Look at her face.
Done.
I'm done.
You don't sound done.
She was done 6 months ago now. She's
I don't know.
she's been
It
nudging.
just depends on the day. Now that I've been away from them 2 days, I'm like, oh, I need more.
Yeah.
Well, you can go back to the ones you already have.
Yeah.
Just because you've been away for a couple of days, you don't have to make another one.
They just, when they are babies, I'm fine. But as soon as they get out of that baby stage, I'm like, oh, I need another baby.
Yeah.
And if
Really?
you keep having more, you just always have a baby.
I say that, and it goes fast. The time goes fast. I used to do a line in my act where the time between you saying as a parent, "Oh, did you hear what he said?" to "Did you hear what the fuck he just said?"
Right?
Yes, it's like it seems like a month.
It's just a bad blank.
Mm-hmm.
Bam.
Kyle, get up. Kyle was sitting. Our sound guy had his eyes closed. Yep. Yeah, you did.
Oh, gosh. At least he wasn't yawning.
No.
Nobody. I would never ever. do
No, I
something like
did.
that.
You got to go check out Roman's podcast with Brittney and me on it. He asked me a question, and during the story, are you yawning again? Are you snoring now?
dude, it's just so funny.
Why is it so funny? You were legitimately.
Look, people can yawn without being bored. There's somebody yawning right now watching this.
How do you know?
I
Well, now I
hope
feel
not.
bad. Anyway, this is how long are you in LA for?
Just
You
today.
leave tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, you leave tomorrow. Have you been traveling much?
No, we just got our podcast up and mobile, so we're able to come to places like this and hang out with guests that aren't able to come to Ohio or just.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but we're not going anywhere. But anytime you want to come back, and anytime you want to visit us or use our studio or do anything, and if I'm flying over and I'm in that direction, I will definitely stop in Columbus and spend some quality time. Family good? Everybody's good?
Yeah, everybody's
Everyone's
great.
good. We had this has never happened to us. Maybe it has to you when the children were young. Our littlest Knox, he's not even 2 yet. He just it's been months now, a couple months, few
Oh,
months.
I hate thinking about it.
He had a low to high fever for the whole day, and of course I don't know why things like this always happen at midnight, but he had a seizure.
Oh no!
And we've never dealt with anything like that. And I call 911 immediately, and he goes blue in front of our eyes. He goes limp, stops breathing, stops moving completely. The worst thoughts just hit you instantly. Like, I just lost
Yeah.
our son. devastating. And 911 was so calm about it. You know CPR, and she knows CPR, so she starts CPR. And then I think I see his belly move. And I was like, maybe that's from CPR. And she's like, you're doing fine. She's walking her through it. And I'm like, what? My son's dead. Like, I literally thought I lost my son right there. Like, he's blue, he's limp, it's the worst image ever. And then he starts to move a little bit, and the ambulance shows up, and they're just like, yeah, this is exactly what we expect with this age group. And they made it very clear that at that age, that specific age, I want parents to hear this because I was never taught this with all my kids. And later found out many of my friends had this exact thing happen. They shut off. At that age, they can shut off completely, let their body cool to a proper temperature, and turn back on. We ended up going to the hospital. Every doctor, every nurse said the exact same thing. Perfectly normal with this age. That's exactly what they're supposed to do.
Wait, how old?
Well, they said, what was it?
It was like 18 months, but it's up till
3.
5.
Up to 3, I believe.
What do you mean shut off? They stop breathing?
They turn off.
They have a seizure, and then
The whole body turns off. It's like death. It was the worst image you can have as a parent. But the things you have to do as a parent, that's something that we've never been through. Miserable to watch. And but I try to share that story for parents that may have that happen, because it is terrifying, but they really let us know that is perfect for that age to do that. It's actually incredible for their bodies to be able to reset like that.
So when they got him to the hospital, well, first of all, CPR, did CPR start him breathing before the ambulance
I
got there?
gave him a couple breaths and saw his belly, go up is what you want to see. And then once that happened, he started whining, like almost like a moaning whining. And that's what he was just coming back to.
And I was like,
we did a chest
saved our
x-ray to make sure compressions didn't injure anything or whatnot. But after doing my own research, why does this happen? I guess it's a vitamin A deficiency is when it's fully depleted, and that's when they shut off and
How do you
restart.
deplete from vitamin A?
The fever, I guess the high fever will deplete
How
the
high was
body.
his fever?
104, 105. He was on a Tylenol
I
to
think
bring
it was
it down.
101 when he had the seizure, though.
Yeah, it was
That's
low when he had the seizure.
Yeah. Oh man, having kids is scary, man.
It really is.
It's incredible that we ever make it to adulthood. It's just
My friend, a comic by the name of Jim Jeffries, said that when he became a parent, the skill of parenting is just being on 24/7 suicide watch,
Yeah.
right? Because they're either going to die or kill
how
themselves.
do we make it? Yeah. So that's
So that's
That's
a
our
horrible,
youngest.
wonderful story that he's okay. He didn't have to stay overnight in the hospital or anything?
No, they
No.
just
Just
did
said
the
go home?
X-ray,
in
and
fact, they were so calm about it. They said
the paramedics didn't even recommend us go to the hospital.
no, they were like, this is so normal. And
Wait, but how do you leave him in a room then? What happens if you didn't show up and you didn't, you have to be in the room to know
they
he had a
literally
seizure?
said he would have been
He
fine.
was sleeping with me is why I knew.
But that's what I asked. I said, what if he was in another room? She said he would have just ran his course and been fine.
Really?
Yeah.
So it may be happening
99%
to
of the time.
people without them even knowing.
As soon as I shared this story the first time, I had unbelievable amounts of people. Exact same thing happened to me. My kid was fine. Same thing. My friends hit me up. Same thing happened to us. I'm like, why don't we share that and let parents know this can happen? Because it is terrifying.
Well, thank you for sharing that with our audience.
Yeah, hopefully.
Rich is saying what?
Yeah, I had that too with McKenna, my daughter. They called it baby blackout or something.
Baby blackout.
Yeah.
And literally, they go like this, and they're out, and they turn blue, and you think they're dead. They're died.
What
Yeah.
else?
That happened to
In
you?
my arms. Yeah, it happened to us 3 or 4 times. They actually said you blow into their face quickly.
Yes, they did. They did
and
say that.
helps come out, but it's really common.
But the doctors were like, even if you didn't do CPR, he would have been fine.
Yeah. Scares the hell out of you.
Oh, it's the worst thing ever.
At that age, Rich? She was
Yeah.
that age?
Same age, exactly.
Wow. Isn't that wild?
That's a scary story.
Yeah. So hopefully,
And that's the end of this podcast? That's how you end?
Oh my god.
That's not a good ending.
No, it's only a reset. We'll come back after you. You just got to blow in our face.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just blow
shut
it
off
off
for a second. Yeah. No, I just hope that somebody.
So this was a
listening
nice, informative, wonderful podcast with a public service announcement at the end.
Yes.
And if you have a blackout baby, that's normal. Is that the message that we're leaving?
I think it's common.
I'm not a doctor. That's just what I was told. And
Okay.
and my little boy has done okay.
They're doing okay. But even if you have what if like if it's a significant other that they just stop breathing and they're blue, will they reset?
Still blow them.
Still blow them?
It's
Whoever is
it's a very specific age. It's
Yeah.
a very specific window that they can do that.
so is that what you're saying? So if I lose consciousness, if you see me someplace and then I've lost consciousness, blow me. And if I come back to life, I've just reset me is what I'm saying.
Reset you.
Reset. It's
Howie
not a
blackout.
blowjob, it's a reset
Howie blackout.
or a blowout.
A blowout.
So what? Wait, just before we go, what is your podcast so that people that are watching this know yours?
It's very similar to yours, actually. If you can see that logo, very similar. It's the Rum and Atwood podcast, and it actually I can't even hardly tell our logos apart.
So listen to the podcast, buy the merch. His merch has always been great.
Smile more.
Smile
That is,
more. Which is a great adage for each and every one of us. We all need to smile more. I've made my whole industry, my whole life to try to get people to smile more. And that's your brand. I've made my whole life selling your shirts.
Thank you. You paved the streets for me.
Road.
Paved the road for me.
Right. Path.
Paved the path.
I don't know. We'll figure out what I've done. And feel free to comment, to share. What else do you tell people? And you were good. You were almost as good as your own sister.
Almost.
Dang. You
Yeah.
should have put a
People are
wig
gonna be
on, dude.
mad that you
should have put a
replaced
wig
her.
on.
Yeah.
Took
So-
the bra off.
Yeah.
You'd
I
have
think-
been.
Anyway, he has a boner and she doesn't. Thank you.
Hey.
That was
That
good.
was amazing. Oh, I hate thinking about that.
Yeah, but you know what? Somebody needs to hear it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Let's take a picture.